So yeah, for this second episode, we actually have a little setup that's a bit different. You have the same mic, but I actually changed my mic. And instead of my Blue Yeti, I now have an Audio-Technica AT 2005, which is a dynamic mic, so my sound will be probably much better. We didn't have any negative feedback from last week, but personally I found it myself that my sound was not that good, so this week should be much better. Last episode, as with the first trailer, I did the editing in Adobe Audition, so that was something fun to use. I've never really experimented with those kind of software in the past, so it was kind of a first try for me. Still don't have any Logic experience either, so I tried with Audition first, since I already have a paid account for Adobe. So, how's my sound this week?
It's pretty good. You sound less tin canny than last week.
Cool. I'm not a robot anymore.
No, you're no longer a robot.
Cool.
So I have the same mic as last week. It's a ATR 2000 and 2000?
2000, yeah, 2000, no, 2100, I think.
Yeah, 2100.
Yeah.
It's the same as yours, but a couple of years, not the same model.
Yeah, yes. And I have a boom mic stand right next to me. And I also got like this little cheap shock mount, was a few bucks. And it's actually pretty bad because it does nothing. Anyways, it just holds my mic there. So
I only have a stack of papers as my stand. That's my next investment, is a boom arm.
Because the mic comes with a little tripod thing,
right?
And you taped it with hockey tape there. So
yeah, because it was sliding and it's getting too low.
Perfect, MacGyver style.
Exactly.
All right. So this week I saw something go by. I don't know if you experienced it, but I actually had the problem, although not totally complete. Transmission, the BitTorrent transfer client, the version 2.90 had actually a Trojan inside it, a ransomware software that could be activated remotely and could, I guess, take over your computer or maybe encrypt some files and ask you to pay in bitcoins at a specific address to get the encryption key back. So what actually happened is that the DMG file, the installer file for the application hosted on Transmission's Steam server, actually got compromised, and some hacker replaced the final file with a ransomware infected version. That project is open source, so I'm guessing that person actually downloaded the code, made a custom build, and then replaced the file. Thankfully, only, and I say in air quotes only, 6,500 computers were compromised, but thankfully not all of them were activated. I haven't seen any reports of people actually having the computers locked or files locked, so I don't know what the real number for that. But quickly the team released 2.92, which was a clean version. They also secured their servers, so it should not happen before. I don't know if you had version 2.90.
No, I was on 2.86, and I upgraded straight to 2.92.
Okay, I was on 2.90, I think maybe for one evening, and it was only like I used my computer maybe a few minutes, and the next day I actually had the pop-up saying emergency, please update right away, and I'm always a little like hesitant with that, because sometimes you actually have infected apps or infected software that's going to request you to do an upgrade. The most famous is probably Java, which was infected so many times. Well, not Java itself, but an app that was taking the appearance of Java and infected your computer. So I actually Googled Transmission 2.92 and see if it really was something legit or not, and it was legit. So I quickly upgraded, and I was okay.
Okay, I didn't see. I saw the big warning with the red banner like you.
Yeah.
But it was asking me to upgrade to 2.92 directly.
Okay. Yeah. Did you heard of any reports from?
I didn't see anything yet.
All right. So this week we also saw something a little bit more happy at the Apple Spaceship Campus. They actually delivered the roof, which is kind of a crazy, because you know how Apple does their stuff. It's never small stuff. It's always big and original and engineeringly with an engineering that's very special. The roof was built, I think, it was in Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Yeah, Germany. 120,000 square foot for the theater, and that has 44 identical radial panels of 70 feet long and 11 feet wide. So it's a big circle, and you have pie pieces if you want. You have 44 of them that makes it the full circle. And what is it made of? Is it
glass? It's 900 sheets of curved glass.
The curve is not on the sides. I thought it was like racing material for the roof.
No, they say here the materials are sourced from 46 countries.
Okay.
No, sorry, 19 countries. 19.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was actually in San Francisco in September, and I got a chance to see this through the gate.
Yeah, true.
I showed you pictures.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. It's going to be really, really big. It's a lot bigger than you see on pictures. The drone shots give you an idea of how big the spaceship is. It's huge.
Yeah, and when you look at the maps, the land that Apple acquired from HP, you have no frame of reference, so it looks big, but how big you don't really see. But like you say, the drone shots, and now those new pictures, Mashable had an article that they had access to the site, and they took a bunch of pictures. It's pretty impressive. Just the size of the actual circle when you look from the side, and then you consider that this is quite deep, and in the center you have a grass area, and you also have an open space. And they also have one picture that I find pretty nice. It was the last one. We already saw that one in the past, but I think this time they added some sun rays coming through the spaceship from one end to the other. So
yeah, the sun was there, but I don't think they had the shots through the building itself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So no, it's a pretty amazing building.
Are the sun panels on the roof new, or they were there before?
I don't think Apple has some at the moment. And right now, did they install it? Not yet, right?
I don't think it's completely done. The last floor.
Yeah, right. And on the previous computer generated shots, I don't think they had any solar panels. They were planned because I remember that this would be like a zero emission
right
building,
eco-friendly building.
Yeah, exactly. So that was planned, but it's just not done yet.
The only thing is the size of the circle. I don't know how long it is to cross in the middle, because if you want to go see your friend that works in another apartment, it could be a pretty long walk.
You get yourself an overboard and you just roll around.
Oh yeah, when those come out.
Yeah.
So they're not working on a car, they're working on hoverboards.
Exactly. Forget the Apple car.
That's what they're going to test.
Yep.
Apple hoverboard.
Exactly. There's also another rumor that came out this week for a 5.8-inch iPhone screen with AMOLED display. Depending on who you read, some say that it's complete bullshit, and some say it's actually more legit than we think. 5.8, it's feasible, but would we have like a iPhone 7 and 7 Plus and 7 Pro?
How many inches is the Plus right now? 4.3?
5.5.
Okay, but can they fit a 5.8 inch screen in the same form factor as the 6S? Well, the 6S Plus. Like with removing the bezels on the side?
Well, I don't know, but this has been a rumor for many, many years, and they have never actually done it. So I'm not sure they're going to do it. Something that was fun on Mac Rumors, they actually measured that the existing 5.5-inch screen with a 7.5 millimeters extra screen on each side and a wrap around the edge, kind of like the Samsung Edge, would fit perfectly. So is that screen actually a flexible screen that will be able to wrap around the edges of the curved bezel? Maybe.
The edge screen thing looks like a gimmick, because you can't even use a case, and they have stats. I think it's like 50% of people use cases. Didn't they say?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So what happens to all those people?
No more case.
Yeah.
You just get a sticker. Yeah, I don't think so either about that curved screen. It's just that funny that you just measure it and it's exactly the perfect size. So, But 5.8, Apple always plays with different size screens. I don't know if you remember the last time it was 60 CNN, yeah,
60 minutes.
60 minutes.
60 minutes. You're right.
They had access to the Johnny Ive design room, and there were like I think 8 or 9 different size plastic fake phones on the desk. They probably just do the same thing here. They just order a bunch of different size screen and they play with those. So it's just a research and development. It's nothing confirmed per se.
Right.
We also saw something quite nice. Not long ago, we had rumors of a dual lens camera for the iPhone 7 or 7S, depending on the rumor. And somebody actually created a little video. It was, let me see, it's Mac Rumors who did a video on how could you really use a system with 2 cameras. What he proposes is, of course, yes, you can do some better image focusing, and you can also adjust the depth of field with this camera. But what he proposed that's quite nice is your screen is split in half, so one half of the screen for each camera, and you can use the second screen for, let's say, focus or for moving with your finger, just dragging your finger, you can move the image around. So you can have kind of a dual capture mode, which could then probably be used in iMovie to do some quick shots of one angle or one zoom level and the other. So it's pretty interesting. I think it's one of the first time that we actually saw somebody make up a little video of a supposed feature coming up, and actually how to use that feature, and not just like a video of a device, but a video of a feature in the device. So that's pretty nice.
It's like live photo 2.0.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know how it's not going to fit, because now if you have a live photo, do you have 2 angles for your live photo in the same JPEG file? That'll be something to look at eventually.
Also, we saw Flex Bright this week.
Did you download it?
I didn't get it.
Nah, me neither. I was too late. Most probably early morning it was pulled. For those who don't know, FlexBright was kind of Flux, the app that we had before Apple asked the developers to pull it, which has been the brainchild of Night Shift. So somebody actually made the app in the App Store, and it was approved and released, so you could actually get the app and have the same feature as Flux, but as a legit iOS app. But as you guessed it, it was pulled not long ago. In the morning, got to work, and on our commute, we looked at it, and it wasn't there.
It was already gone.
Yeah.
The screenshots of the layout was just hideous, though. I don't know if you saw them.
Oh, yeah. It was an awful app, which is not surprising, because being a developer, you don't want to spend too many months working on something that has maybe a 4% chance of being approved. So it's basic. I think it was more of a proof of concept. He pushed it and it went through. So of course, if it wasn't pulled, probably he would have made it better. But this was just to get it in there.
I don't know how these apps don't get flagged at app review.
Especially this one. Have you seen the full name? I think it was Flex Bright. Adjust your screen brightness by the time of day or something like that. So it was not mentioning like color balance per se, but just the name gives you a good hint.
Right, especially with the big brouhaha we've had about Flux and Night Shift lately.
Yeah, and there's no public API to adjust the brightness from an app.
Right.
It's something that's only system allowed. So just the title would trigger something, but supposedly not. We also have a very old Apple friend, Steve Wozniak, who was on a, was it Colbert? What's the show here?
I'm not sure. Conan. Yeah, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, he went to Conan, and he was actually asked, what does he think about the Apple versus the FBI debacle? And Wozniak, being one of the co-founders of the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, he actually is very against the FBI, what they're asking for. And he also always have little tidbits of information he gives from past experience. And he mentioned that at one time he actually wrote a program which was actually a virus. And when he realized what it could do, how it could spread easily and do harm, he was like so disgusted that he deleted the code. He was done with that.
Yeah, this comes as no surprise, though, coming from Steve Wozniak, super open source, open-minded.
Yeah. Second rumor this week, the new Thunderbolt display. Should we have new Thunderbolt display very soon? The online and store stock, I think it was in Germany, are actually down. So it's now 8 business days to get a unit, which was actually like same business day before. We still have stock in Canada and the US, but if some countries start to have low stock, usually that means that they're actually selling the last units and waiting to receive a new model. I really cross my fingers for this one because as much as I like my Thunderbolt display, it's in desperate need of some love from Apple.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to get an external display, but I just can't do the non-retina screen, and I don't want to have a cheap Dell plastic thing on my desk.
Yeah, and plus all the nice stuff that you have on the Thunderbolt display, all the ports, keyboard plugs right in, so you just get on your desk, plug one cable, and you're done. Once you've started to live with that, you don't want to go back and plug all your cables like an animal.
Yeah, that's what I have to do every day at work.
Yeah, we're lucky we have some Thunderbolt displays.
Oh, we don't.
There's also a new app that came out this week. Like you told me, it's the social network of the week.
Yeah, because there's one every week now.
Yeah, every week there's a new social network. This one's called Swell, and I don't know I haven't played it with it too much, but for me it looks more of a.
You pick 2 pictures, so you post a picture composed of 2 pictures, and then they're called swells, and you pick the top or bottom by just tapping on it.
So you just tap one or the other, and then you get a percentage of who tapped the same as you. As most of the apps nowadays for social networks, it's invite only. So you install the app, you need an invite code. You look on Twitter, and they have a code for the first 1,000 accounts. And then you go on their site, and there are some other ways to get codes. And then if you have a code, you can use the app. And after, I think, 4 or 5 taps on different image, you get 2 codes to invite your friends. So, yeah, it's fun. It's beautiful, but I don't consider it a social networks per se. More of a data gathering device.
It's a polling app.
Yeah, kind of a poll, yeah. One after the other. You just reply to poll. I'm pretty sure they're going to sell the data to some company for that.
The onboarding process is really, really nice.
Yes, that's true.
All the pages are super nice, like almost too nice for this app that nobody's going to use.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They have good designers in there.
Yeah.
This morning, we saw something pretty cool from the CEO of Sonos, John McFarlane. He explained in a blog post, explain is a big word because he tried to be as vague as he could, that he has 2 main areas of interest for Sonos. The first one is streaming. The future is in streaming. It's embraced by the recording companies. So everything should go to streaming. Okay, fine. And the second point, which is the one that is more interesting for me, is he speaks very highly of Amazon and the Echo product line and the Alexa voice control software that they have in those little speakers. Amazon sells speakers that you put in your house, and it's an always-on kind of Siri product where you just speak, Alexa, do something. And I just hope that I haven't triggered your Alexas if you are listening with speakers right now. And he actually likes that pretty much, and he sees this as the future for speakers. So most people who actually bought the Echo really like the product. I think it's one of the most recent product that Amazon launched that's actually well received, a lot more than the Fire Phone for sure. And those who have it have basically one complaint, is that the speaker itself for music is not the best quality there is. We know Federico Vitici of Relay FM, he has one, but he also has a Sonos speaker. Same thing for Jason Snell from Six Colors. He has an echo, and also has a bunch of Sonos speakers. So John McFarlane from Sonos thinks of probably doing the same thing, putting out a speaker with a microphone and the same kind of capability. People think they should just do a partnership with Amazon and have Amazon under speakers. But looking at the history of Sonos, they never wanted to hop on the Wi-Fi. They had their own protocol for wireless communication with their little base for many, many years. They finally embraced Wi-Fi not so long ago. I think maybe 2 years ago. So they preferred their technology. They want to keep control on it. They want to be sure it's the most effective and reliable thing there is. AirPlay still not allowed on the Sonos speakers. Is it a licensing fee problem?
That's a big deal breaker for me.
Yeah, you're not the first one to tell me that. For myself, I have the Air Sonos app. So I wrote a tutorial on Ipsr where how to enable that feature. You run a little app in the terminal of your Mac, and your Sonos just appears as a AirPlay speaker. So for me, it's perfect. I have the best of both worlds, but it's not the best solution. So for the future, I'm pretty sure that Sonos will probably hire engineers and work on its very own voice recognition software, so that they could put out a good speaker and a good software for which they optimize both to work together, and not just have a rule available in IFTTT to send the command to Alexa or Alexa on the Sonos. That's for sure.
Weren't they talking about layoffs too?
Yes, I haven't read about the details, but they have recently laid off some people. He explains it that he refocuses the company's efforts. I'm thinking that maybe it's for some position that were more related to probably the old technologies that they use, their own protocol for wireless, and maybe some app stuff for playing your existing files and not for the streaming services.
Because they just joined a partnership with not a partnership, but Apple Music is finally available on Sonos since a month or two, no?
Yes, it's really recently been there. I was lucky to be in the beta, so I was able to play with it maybe for a month or a month and a half before the release. And even from the day one, it was very well done, very solid. The onboarding was perfect. You follow the tutorial. You allow Sonos app to have access to your Apple Music account, and they do a handshake, and off you go with your music. The interface was not the most pretty, as it is with Sonos app. The app is not bad, but just you don't have all the niceties of the colors like in iTunes you have for Apple Music. You don't have that in the Sonos app.
Okay, the internet went crazy again this morning. But Eric Schmidt, the former Google CEO, did you see this?
Yes.
He was using an iPhone in South Korea at this press event. So he's now the chairman of the board, I think, for Alphabet.
Yes, for the parent
Google's
company.
parent company.
Yeah.
Right. And he used to be CEO. I think he stepped down to let Larry Page.
Yeah, in 2011. So he was from 2006 to 2011. He was the CEO of Google, and he also stepped down from Apple board of directors in 2008, when it was clear that Google was beginning to be a competitor to Apple.
So I guess he still prefers iPhone.
Well, let him do what he wants. He was a BlackBerry user before being an Android user.
Yeah, he was a big fan of the physical keyboards.
Yeah, and it took a while before he let his old BlackBerry go. He kept it for a while, for many years. So let him do what he wants. Something happened this week. It was quite a thing in the retro gaming sphere. There was a project going on from a company called Retro VGS. They announced at the Toy Fair, which is a big toy convention in the US, a new console. It was called Project Chameleon, in partnership with Coleco, and it would be capable of playing all of the Atari 2600 games, so all 300 of them, with an official license from Coleco. Coleco from Atari, sorry, the ColecoVision games, Intellivision, SNES, and Sega Genesis games. There was not too much information available, only a plastic shell that they showed, the design renders. You see something that looks like a Jaguar, the old Atari console from the 90s, with 4 USB ports in the front. And then some people actually in the toy fair passed by the booth, and they actually saw that the console had a weird look if you look through the cartridge slot or the back. The cartridge slot looked exactly like a Super Nintendo cartridge slot, and at the back, if you looked at the placement of the RGB cable and the power cable, it was exactly the same placement and exactly the same cable as the SNES. So were they actually like playing games on a fake console with the internals of a Super Nintendo? And then what they did was crazy to me. On their Facebook page, they released a picture of the same console, the Project Chameleon, with a transparent case, and saying, see, it's a very legit product. We have our own board inside. But the crazy thing is the board was not a board for the console. It was actually an old PCI capture card that was used a while back to capture video from other sources to your computer. And if you look closely, you can see that on the left side, you've got the PCI connector of the card. So they actually released like this photo trying to calm people down, but it's actually worse. So then Todd Schallbetter, the CEO of Atari, said that they were going to investigate the matter with their own engineers. And what happened is that a few days later, actually I think it was 2 days ago, Atari said that they totally canceled the partnership. It will not happen. They actually never had an agreement to release games on their product, and they pulled the plug. Retro VGS killed their Facebook page. The website does not respond anymore, so it's all gone.
You went way too geek gaming for me there.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit older than you, and I'm the Nintendo generation, so...
half the thing you were talking about, I wasn't even born.
We have a post with more pictures on Hipster Pixel if you want to see for yourself the pictures. I just realized that it's crazy that they just put a PCI card in a plastic shell and as a proof saying, see, we actually built a product. That's crazy.
It's going to be in the show notes.
Yes, of course.
Also, another thing that came out this week, Srini Caldwell of iMore, I think, she wrote she drew a super nice review of her iPad Pro pencil / iPad Pro. Well, the both of them together.
The first drawn review of an Apple accessories, if you want.
Yeah, I'd really like to be able to draw like that. It's really, really pretty.
Oh, yeah. You should really look in the show notes and see for yourself. It's not that long. It's maybe a 5 or 10 screen height long, but she really like goes around all the features, all that of what you can do, and it's very, very nice. She also has a pretty nice handwriting, even though she does not like it. Personally, if I could write like that, I would be able to read my notes back, which is something I can never do.
Yeah, but anyway, who writes anymore?
Yeah, of course. So this morning, some journalists had in their inbox a little invite that popped up saying that Apple is inviting them to a March event called Let Us Loop You In on March 21st, 10 a.m. Pacific time, for that new event with new products.
So it's going to be Let Us Loop You In. We're supposed to try to guess what it means this time again. It's maybe because it's at the Apple campus in Cupertino. So the street is Infinite Loop. Let us into the loop, into the secrets, product announcements. So something in that vein.
So you think it's not a loop like the iPod Touch they had a few years back for the iPad Pro? I was hoping for a big loop for my big iPad.
I think you're going to wait a little while for that one.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it could be Apple Watch bands. They're loops, and in a way.
True, yeah, the Milanese loop. So many more loops. What about the colors of the invitation? People always try to read between the lines, between the colors, the different image. So we have kind of the top of the apple, and the little leaf is actually not in the same angle as usual. We have part of it is gray, part of it is pink, some other part is darker pink, and the middle part is kind of like goldish orange. So new colors for new iPhones. iPhone 5 SE with like different metals and colors, perhaps.
Or just nothing.
Or just nothing, yeah. Or just here's a bunch of colors.
Maybe you're just trying to read too much into this.
Yeah. But sometime in the past there were actually events with something very, very special in the invitation that once you've seen the event, you realize, oh yeah, it makes sense. That's what they were presenting in the invitation.
That's what they were trying to tell us.
Yeah.
Or hint at us.
Yes. What are your predictions for the 21st?
The iPhone 4-inch, the new 4-inch iPhone, the replacement for the 5C.
Okay, so an iPhone SE?
And then they're talking about new watch bands.
For sure.
And a public release. The public release for 9.3.
Yes, so night shift.
It's been in beta since like January, so.
Yeah, and they're gonna bring back, for those who were on the betas, the Apple Pencil as a touch input device for different controls and not just for writing. They removed this in previous beta, and there was lots of people screaming out loud on the internet, and Apple finally released a press release to some tech sites saying that it was actually always meant to come back. They just had to remove it for some code fix, and they brought it back, and it'll be back in future betas. And for the final release for 9.3, it will still be there. So for those of you who don't have access to the beta of iOS, you always had the feature, and you will always keep it for the future versions.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right according to me.
No, me too. As a developer, I can understand sometimes you turn off some feature to do some other changes, but after all of the whining that came out of this, I'm pretty sure that they actually thought they should remove it, and then realize that their error and bring it back.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
No MacBooks, no
MacBooks. You don't think so? For the Skylight bump.
I think there will be some new MacBooks. Probably MacBook Pro as usual, MacBook Air, new iMacs. Maybe, yeah. I think, all three should be released at the same time. The MacBook itself, if Apple has access to the new chips, and if they include a low power one, as they are using right now in the MacBook, they will make it available too. But I don't think everything will come out at the same time. I'm pretty sure we'll get maybe a MacBook and Mac Mini for later, maybe like in June.
They don't wait for events even to release the new MacBooks lately. It comes out on a Tuesday. Hey, new Macs.
So you think it will be mostly an iPhone SE event?
Yeah, and I don't think they're gonna bump, or they're not gonna announce the bump to Skylight on the 21st.
Okay, so mostly iPhone. Are they gonna announce WatchOS? No, that's gonna be for WDC for sure.
You think WatchOS 3?
Yeah, I don't think so. So really, iPhone SE, watch bands, and iOS 9.3, and that's it.
Oh no, we're forgetting the iPad. The new 9.7-inch Pro-ish.
So the iPad Pro Nano small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pro Mini Nano.
Yeah, the Pro Mini Nano. That's perfect name. Yeah, so what do you think about that? Are you thinking that it's going to be an iPad Pro smaller or an iPad Air 3 with more features?
I think an iPad Pro smaller. The case was leaked this week there with the 4 speakers, the connection for the keyboard.
Okay. So iPad Pro Mini, and what about the iPad Air? It's going to stay as it is until next year?
Yeah, I think they could do just iPad Pro an iPad mini.
Okay.
Well, they're going to keep the Airs for a couple of years there.
A couple of years.
Hopefully not as long as they kept the iPad 2.
Well, yeah. You cannot count on that. The iPad Air 2 is so powerful in comparison to the iPad 2. They can probably keep it like that for maybe a good 3-4 years. Anything else in the news this week?
I think that's pretty much it for events.
Good.
For the event.
All right. So this was our second episode. You can find the show notes at hipsterpixel.co/RGB/2. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Valliere, so VALLIERES.
And I'm at Tyler Menard, TYLERMENARD.
You can tweet us for comments, or you can send us an email on the RGB podcast page at hipsterpixel.co/RGB. You have links there to send us an email, or use the hashtag RGB podcasts. We look at those before each show. So that's it for today, and have a great week.
Thanks for listening.